It's time to start considering Christmas travel plans, and if you want to get a deal on your flight or hotel, here to let us in on his secrets of traveling on points is Brian Kelly, reward points expert and the namesake of website thepointsguy.com. Thank you very much for joining us, Brian. We first should tell our viewers out there how you got to Toronto, because you did use your points.
I actually used, one of the big things I recommend is using alliances. So I had points with American Express. I transferred 25,000 to Continental, and then I booked actually an Air Canada award via Continental. So instead of paying $700 for coach, I flew business class for only 25,000 miles and $5.
Simple enough. Simple enough. Okay, so you were in investment banking. I think you were recruiting. How did you end up doing what you do now?
I started blogging on the side, so I managed recruitment for a major investment bank in New York, and I was away from home all the time, and friends and family missed me. So I always found a way to just rack up my hotel points and flight points, and I started blogging about it about a year ago, and then I realized there was a huge amount of business travelers out there that are in the same boat, road warriors that need a little bit of help in maximizing their miles and points. So I started blogging, and then this June I did it full time, and the site has just exploded ever since.
So when you're talking to people about maximizing points, what are the one or two most important things about accumulating the points? You said the word you used just a second ago, but what are these, what was the word you just...
The alliances?
The alliances,
yes,
excuse me. So that might be one. What are some of the other keys?
The key points, I mean, number one is just sign up for the program. So they're free. The tricky thing is they're sometimes hard to manage if you've got points all over the place. I think people get stressed about them expiring. There are a lot of different online mileage managers like awardwallet.com. You put all of your information in for all your hotel, for your airlines, and then it automatically tracks, and it'll even send you an email if they're going to expire. And one of the things people don't realize, you don't have to fly to keep them from expiring. You can buy a tank of gas from Esso, and your Aeroplan account will reset the expiration for another year. So there's a lot of just different tricks that once people learn all the ins and outs, it's actually quite easy to start really racking up the miles and then redeeming for those trips.
The biggest problem that most people face are the so-called blackout periods, or actually using your points to get a flight that you want when you want it.
When you want it, exactly. Well, that's actually where alliances come in. So a lot of people, if you want to go to London for the holidays, there's more than just that Air Canada nonstop flight. Sometimes you do have to be a little bit flexible. But if it's saving you $1,000, I'll often take a layover, in case I need to. So I recommend and the airline websites aren't perfect. Aeroplan's actually pretty good, but it won't show 100% of all their partner flights. So usually calling up, being nice, being a little bit flexible can save you thousands of dollars in airfare.
And do you have to be explicit if, say, your points are with Air Canada and you see that one of their partners has a better flight to your destination, let's say it's London in this case, how do you go? Do you talk to Air Canada first and ask them to transfer points over, or do you talk to whoever that other partner is?
You always deal with the partner that you have miles with, so you'll only deal with Air Canada if you have Aeroplan miles. However, and here's a trick with Aeroplan, you actually pay less in fuel surcharges if you redeem on partners. For some reason, Aeroplan places a lot of taxes and fees on their own flights, but not on Star Alliance partners. So you just call up the Aeroplan Service Center, say, hey, look, I want to take maybe Lufthansa or Continental via Newark, and they'll look into it and book it directly with your Aeroplan miles. No need to transfer or anything.
And what are some of the top deals in the market right now for flights that you've found?
Well, one of the things I tell Canadians is don't just focus on Aeroplan. Aeroplan's a great program, but for example, US Airways right now has a Grand Slam promotion. And the whole point of this promotion
Sounds like a breakfast.
Yeah, I know. The whole point is to get you to stay at hotels, rent cars. So instead of, on your next hotel stay, if you bank your miles to US Airways, you'll get credit for each of those activities, and you can earn up to 110,000 miles with just that promotion this fall. That's enough for a free business class, ticket to Europe. And surprisingly, I checked today, there's a lot of availability even over the holidays. So, while airfares are really expensive over the holidays for leisure travelers, a lot of business travelers stay home. So you can get a lot of business class or even first class using your miles and points at the regular rates.
And how do you check that? Do you check again through, say, Aeroplan for availability on those flights, or do you go to the websites to check general availability for those flights if you're looking for business class?
Aeroplan actually has a pretty robust site, and they will show partners. It's not always completely intuitive, though. Sometimes you need to finesse it a little bit. I recommend if you're looking for Lufthansa availability, check Toronto to Frankfurt to London instead of just typing in Toronto to London and expecting all the different options to come up. So you need to be a little bit savvy. There are some sites like Expert Flyer where for $10 a month, it'll give you inside access to airline award availability. So considering your miles can save you thousands of dollars, spending that $10 and taking a little bit of time to learn that program can be worth it for sure.
Things go beyond travel though, because you got the cashback cards. You also have all of these affinity cards that are out there. Are they valuable? Should we be paying attention to those?
Yeah, I mean the credit cards, especially in the U.S. and Canada, there's a 40,000 point bonus for the Aeroplan Plus Platinum card. It does come with a $500 fee, so you really have to do the finances. Is it, do you value the lounge access? Are you going to use those points for an expensive flight? They can give. It depends how much you spend per year. You can earn up to 1.5 miles per dollar. But definitely there are debit cards. You can get miles for mortgages, for moving your house. It can add up, and if you use your miles wisely, it can absolutely make sense.
Well, you're saying add up. It sounds like we're building a George Costanza wallet here that's going to burst. Is there a card that is a stand-up for you in all your checking around the world that is the one that accumulates better, that is more flexible? Is there a stand-up?
I mean, if you're a heavy spender, if you're a business traveler, and you like good benefits, I mean, American Express is the way that most business travelers that I know go with. That fee, especially if you're a small business owner, that $4.99 annual fee can be written off as an expense. And like I said, if you spend over $25,000 a year, you're earning 1.5 miles per dollar. And Aeroplan has round-trip business class tickets to Europe starting at 90,000 points. So your 40,000 point sign-up bonus is already halfway there to a free business class round-trip ticket. So if you value that, it can absolutely be worth it.
Well, Brian, thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy your stay in Toronto.
Thank you very much.
And your hotel, I understand, is also being paid by points. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Brian Kelly, reward points expert and namesake of website thepointsguy.com.